Well, welcome to our virtual tasting with Wild Crafted Wines. I'm excited that you guys are here. I have a couple of very special guests to introduce to you today. Number one, Laura and Terry. They are proprietors of Wild Crafted Wines. They've lived in Napa Valley for 30 years. They've established great relationships as they search California and Oregon wine regions for exceptional, hidden, and dedicated producers. Their wines are small production, many handcrafted by multi-generational families devoted to preserving their legacy, or winemakers and vintners dedicated to sustainable and organic farming. The winemakers and chefs that they work with are artisans producing new wines or famous winemakers working on independent projects. Laura is a member of the prestigious Circle of Wine Writers based in London. So we are going to welcome Terry and Laura. Hello. They've got their
Hello.
wine ready. Yes. And we have another very special guest. It's our winemaker. Yay. This is Nori Nakamura. He's a Japanese native. He was first introduced to fine wine at an early age while working at his uncle's Italian restaurant in Tokyo. He graduated from the prestigious Keio University with a bachelor's degree in economics and started his career in hotel management with Nikko Hotels International. During a graduation trip to Italy, Nori tasted a phenomenal 1981 Barbaresco. It was a defining moment in his young life and set him on a path towards a career in winemaking. He earned a Japan sommelier certification before transferring from Tokyo to California to assume the role of catering manager at the luxurious Hotel Nikko San Francisco. His subsequent experiences in wine country further fueled his passion, leading to cellar positions at Coves Newland and Pine Ridge Vineyards, and a degree in winemaking from the renowned program at the University of California in Davis. He held the position of assistant winemaker at Artesa Vineyards and Winery, where he honed his skills at producing expressive Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. He then was the head winemaker at Jameson Ranch Vineyard, where he scored 90 points for his 2011 and 2012 Cabernet Sauvignon, 2011 red wine, and 2012 Pinot Noir. He is currently the winemaker at Larson Family Winery in Sonoma, and he established Nakamura Cellars LLC and created the label Noria in 2010. It's Nori. He's here. I'm so excited to see you, Nori. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Okay, you guys got some wine. You have some fabulous wine that you'd like to share with us today. What are you sharing? And let's talk about wine.
Yeah. So here I have this Noria Pinot Noir. So this is a single vineyard called Michael Valentine. The region from Freestone. So Freestone is about 10 minutes from Bottega Bay. So which is the by the ocean. So this vineyard sits in the coolest spot in entire Northern California. So you can imagine that the fog comes in every day, and then it doesn't go away until 11 or noon. So the vineyard doesn't get as much sunshine as the other vineyard, so it stays cool. So that nurtures a really nice flavor, really structured tannin, but at the same time, really natural, nice acidity as well. So my wine Noria, I created this Noria back in 2010. So it's been 10 years. But the biggest concept of Noria is the California wine that can go well with Japanese food. So based on that concept, I chose the vineyard, the grapes, clones. Let's say when to pick, how to manage the tannin extractions, um, what kind of barrel I use for the aging process. All the decision making is done based on my big concept, which is the to make the California wine that can go well with Japanese food.
Very nice. Oh, I love that. So, I mean, how different is the wine from, that you're making to kind of go with Japanese food? How different is it than just a wine that we normally pair with something else?
Yeah, so I currently I have four wines, two whites. One is Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay, and then the other two are Pinot, but from different vineyard of Sonoma. So for the two whites, model of those two whites are not other people's Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay, and actually the model of my two white wines are sake. So
Okay.
I kind of try to imitate the mouthfeel of the sake. For the red side, because it's really difficult, because to me, the definition of Japanese food is the delicate dishes made from fresh and seasonal ingredients. So
Mm,
it's all about the ingredients, nuance. So if you have a red wine with big tannins, then the tannin is going to overwhelm the flavor of the food.
right.
So to me, I like to have a red wine that is vibrant and also the transparent. Transparent means like in the mouth, the tongue is not too tight. It's more loose, and you can kind of see through. So in that sense, I really think that Pinot is really the kind of ideal, the red wine, when I think about the pairing with the Japanese food. And especially the wine like this, which basically produced from the one of the coolest region or coolest vineyard, then you can have really nice, vibrant acidity, and as a result, the alcohol is low, and then you can. This is one of the few red wines that I believe that you can pair with sushi as well.
Okay, that's something a little different. I don't know that I have actually paired my red wine with my sushi. Now I'm excited. Laura and Terry, have you guys done that?
We have relied on Nori to give us recipes for pairing these wines.
Nice.
And yes, it's delicious with certain seared dishes.
Ooh, yeah. Now we've also paired Nora your wines with some chocolates. We've paired them with some cookies. Laura, which ones were your favorite to pair those cookies and those chocolates with?
Well, anything goes with the Michael Valentine Pinot. It's a gold medal winner. Um, so I think with the chocolate, like the Aztec chocolate or the chocolate
Yes.
cherry, those were some really good matches. And it's difficult because you can't have them too sweet, so it's paired perfectly.
Exactly. And those were the cookies that we've done with Cookie Take a Bite, putting those together with those wines. So pretty incredible tasting. So Nori, tell us more about, so for this particular Pinot, tell us more a little bit about Pinot in general. A lot of people know about Pinot. Some people don't. I know, it takes a little extra care. So tell us a little bit
Mhm.
more about Pinot in general and kind of what you're doing with your Pinot grapes.
Yeah, Pinot in general. So the Pinot is one of the red grapes, and it's very famous in the France, the Burgundy, that area. So the French call the Pinot, the Burgundy Pinot is the king of the red wine. The it tend to be very small berries, and then the skins are very thin, and also it really likes the cool area because it holds nice acidity as well. So
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to Cabernet Sauvignon, which is very also a very famous red wine, very robust and the tannic, and tend to have, especially in California, you see quite high alcohol, the Cabernet Sauvignon. But the Pinot is actually opposite from Cabernet Sauvignon. It's more elegant, delicate. The
Yes.
colors tend to be lighter than other red varieties. So it's very like sophisticated, balanced, the soft. So some people say it's really difficult. It's not easy to grow really nice Pinot and make Pinot. But because of that, to me, it's very challenging every day, every year, and then I really enjoy it. And I mean, it's difficult to nail it down, but
Right.
I always try to make better Pinot every year after year.
I love Pinot is one of my absolute favorites, and I like to call the Pinot grapes. It's like the Goldilocks of grapes because it's got to be absolutely perfect. They don't want it too hot. They don't want it too cold. It's got to be just perfect. So it takes a little bit more effort to be growing the Pinot grapes, and then of course taking the amazing fruit to do what you do with your processes, and it's not easy. It's not an easy wine to make. So I think that's pretty amazing. Laura, what do you have?
Nori. So I love the label on Nori's wines, and I always ask him about it. Could you run us through what the water wheel is?
Yes.
Perfect.
So my wine Noria. So when I decided to start my own brand, I had to come up with the name first, and then so I wanted to use my name, but which is Nori, Nori, but the Nori has no meaning. I mean, it does have a meaning. In Japanese, it means seaweed, but it's
Okay.
not a cool name. So actually, my wife came up with this name, Noria, because my name is Nori and my wife is Maria. So it's combined Noria. But it's not just that. In Spanish, Noria means water wheel. So it doesn't mean that I know a lot about the water wheel, but to me, the water wheel, the elements of water wheel is like the water, nature, the energy of the human, the very simple energy of the human being. And those elements, to me, really match with the elements of the wine. So I really like this name, and so I named my brand Noria. And so this one, the logo, my brother came up with this design, but this represents a water wheel. But at the same time, to me, the wine is very special because I love wine, and I drink wine almost every day, and that makes me feel good. And then when I'm having fun, I really want to have wine too. So to me, this logo, even though it's a water wheel, but at the same time, it represents fireworks as well.
Ah, okay. I love how you say you drink wine every day as a winemaker. I mean, right? That's
That's
what we
right.
all
I
should
have
be
to,
doing.
right? So that's my excuse.
That's your
Yes, that's
excuse.
my job.
You have an excuse. Well, Laura and Terry, they have an excuse too. They happen to have a wine shop online called Wild Crafted Wines. So they have an excuse to drink wine on a regular basis too. You guys get to pick amazing wines from, amazing wine regions. And I would love to hear from Laura and Terry maybe a little bit more about, you know, what your motivation is for your business and what makes you unique.
So what makes us unique? We look for people like Nori who are really trying to come up with what's the next big thing for the wine industry, right? Their next brand that will uh, take off. And but these wines are made, as Sue initially introduced, by winemakers with a lot of experience, but they're just working on the next thing. So we're there to try and help them get those products to the market. That's our main thrust. But also, we're very interested in working with them as a small business. There are a lot of wine shops out there that have every single wine that's mass produced.
Right.
That's not really interesting to us after 30 years in Napa. What's interesting is working with people doing some very unique things. And when we introduce people to these wines, they really get excited about them, they taste great. And then the story behind them of what's going on, they just love that. And they like the ability to actually find these very unique wines that they would otherwise never find.
Right.
And but again, they're all very high quality, extraordinary wines, as Nori was just describing. And if you get a chance to taste his wines, you'll see exactly what we're talking about.
Perfect. Yeah, I love your concept. I love that you're finding these absolutely amazing winemakers, very talented, like Nori, who's on our call today. Nori, anything else you want to leave us with regarding your Pinot Noir? Any other tasting notes or things that you can share with our viewers?
Yes. This Pinot Noir. I just mentioned my concept, but I think my approach is kind of unique because normally we as a winemakers we try to make the best wine from the grapes that are made by the nature. I'm doing the same thing, but my approach is more like I have the goal, basically tasting structure, which is for this Pinot, the Pinot that which is vibrant and transparent, that can go with Japanese food. So based on that tasting structure, I basically built up everything to reach the goal. So it's kind of interesting approach, I think, compared to other people or other wine. And this is really right now. We have 2018. It's still young, and it can last another 20 years for no problem. And every time I open the new bottle, it's tasting better and better, better. So please try, and if you have any question, please let me know. Yeah, I want to enjoy the wine with everybody.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much, Nori and Laura and Terry. Cheers. How about a glass of
Cheers.
wine? There we
Cheers.
go.
We'll see you at the next virtual tasting.
Yes.